What's good? You too, man. It's your boy SB back with another sports break. And in this video, I'm going to be going around some of the quick hitters that's going down in the sports world. There's been a couple things that I missed in the NFL, a couple things that I missed in the NBA. And yeah, we got to talk about that Floyd Mayweather-Jake Paul fight. So make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And either than that, let's get into the video. So to start it off, the NBA playoffs have gotten out to a rousing start. Every team in the East won their first round in 5 games. Not really much to talk about there. The West has a lot more juicy stuff going on. Let's start with the Clippers and the Mavs, man. They gave us an excellent series going to 7 games. Luka Doncic did his thing, showed up in hoop. Didn't have much help around them, but you know, those guys, they don't have much ancillary pieces. But I don't think it's more of what the Mavs was lacking, but more of what the Clippers have. Kawhi Leonard showed up and proved that he's still top 5 in the NBA right now. So big ups to the Clippers. They're going to have a tough fight with the Utah Jazz. I don't see them getting past the Jazz. I think that's a 6 or 7 game series, both going the Jazz's way. I think Donovan Mitchell just a little too much for them. And that series already gotten underway, and they gave us a great game 1. But we have to talk about Paul George, man. What is he doing out there? Like, sometimes PG looks like MVP caliber player. But sometimes PG looks like a 3rd All-American team. 3rd team All-NBA. He's a great defender, but he's lazy on defense. He doesn't like guarding the best players, and that's what it boils down to. When you have a team that's like the Clippers, where you got great defenders all over the court, on the wing and on the interior, but you have 2 top-tier defenders on your team being Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, one of those guys have to take that top assignment. And a lot of time it ended up being Kawhi Leonard. And people seem to forget that Paul George is a top-tier defender. I expect Paul George to take this Donovan Mitchell assignment. Give Kawhi Leonard a break. In the first round, Kawhi Leonard had to step up and shut down Luka Doncic, and that's the reason why they won that series. I wouldn't expect Kawhi Leonard to do this every series, take on the best player, and be the highest scoring player on your team. Especially when you have an elite defender like Paul George. He should be taking that assignment every time. Now let's talk about the last shot in game 1. Paul George had the wide open shot with Rudy Gobert on him. He decided to bail him out and pull up for a 3 instead of driving on the 5 and getting him in some kind of foul trouble. Paul George looks lackadaisical out there. He looks like he does not want to be there. He looks uninterested. And they're going to need him to be competitive in the series on both sides of the ball. I believe in PG. I love PG. I think he's a hooper on both sides of the ball. He's a great 2-way player. But he has not played up to his standards. And that says a lot about him. So that's one series out of the way. Let's talk about the Nuggets and the Suns. I want to congratulate Nikola Jokic for winning his first MVP. First MVP in Denver Nuggets history. So big ups for him. He definitely deserved it. For me, I wanted Joel Embiid to win it, but I knew as soon as Joel got hurt that his chance of winning MVP were down the toilet. But shout out to Jokic for winning MVP. But it's not really helping them in this series, man. The Suns have came out and stated some dominance on this team. And Chris Paul has shown his value more than any other season that he's played in. But Chris Paul had a valid point. He knows that Denver is in Mile High and that the win atmosphere there is different. So winning those first 2 games in Phoenix were highly important, knowing the home court that they have to go to in Denver for the Nuggets. But the home court in Phoenix was amazing for both of these games. They were there, they were loud, and they came out to support their team. And they got the MVP looking like he about to get swept out of the second round. I don't believe that happens, but I do got the Suns winning in 5. So let's go over to the East where we got the Sixers and the Hawks. It's been a lot of Trae Young, a lot of Joel Embiid. They going back and forth. But I think at this point the Sixers probably have the Hawks figured out. I think the Hawks maybe win one more game, but I'm taking the Sixers in 6. And the Brooklyn Nets, man. Let's take a break and talk about this. I don't want to talk much about the Brooklyn Nets. They're doing their thing. It is what it is. This is what we expected from them. KD, one of the best scorers in the leagues. He putting on buckets. That's easy. I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. They are letting the world down. Why are the Milwaukee Bucks being so disappointing? And especially Giannis. Yes, Giannis. I hold Giannis to a very high standard because in my opinion, Giannis is top 3 in the NBA. Maybe number 1. In a lot of people's opinion, he's number 1. And the most important thing is he's the reigning defensive player of the year. And he's getting cooked by Trey 5. Completely cooked. And they're not showing any heart. That's the biggest problem with me for the Milwaukee Bucks. They're not showing any heart. They reminded me of the guy on Baby Boy that got punched in the jaw. And he was like, oh, come on, man, my jaw hurt. That's the Milwaukee Bucks. Get up off the ground and fight, man. Show some heart. Keep your chin up. Don't go out like a punk. Everybody expected them to lose this series anyway, but nobody expected them to get beat by 50. That's crazy, bro. At one point in the last game, they were down by as much as 49 points. And the Nets don't even have James Harden. This could be 20 times worse if James Harden was playing. Man, I don't even want to. The Nets have been really disappointing. I mean, the Bucks, sorry. The Bucks have been really disappointing. We expected more from them. I expected more from them. This is the series I look forward to the most in the playoffs, and they haven't shown up. They haven't shown up. It's plain and simple. I expect them to be better in Milwaukee. I expect Giannis to have a big game in Game 3 because if they lose Game 3, the series is cooked. It's a wrap. All right, let's talk about LeBron. Now, y'all need to chill out with the blasphemy that y'all giving LeBron, bro. A lot of people saying LeBron is on a decline? What? If you look at the stats, LeBron has had a great series against the Phoenix Suns in the first round. They bounced out because the best player couldn't stay healthy, which is Anthony Davis. But in the standards of LeBron, I want to kind of pump the brakes on saying that he's declining. They're coming off of a 72-day offseason in between winning a championship last year. LeBron faced a lot of injuries. His team got hit with COVID. And not to mention Anthony Davis didn't really play this season. So I think that the slander that LeBron is getting for getting eliminated in the first round is ridiculous. And not to mention it's the first time this has happened in his career. Cut the man some slack. He's doing a lot of things. He's got a lot going on. I think LeBron is still as talented as anybody else in the league. But I think the conversation needs to be had on if he's still the best player in the NBA right now. I think he might be. Still could be. I want to see him with a full offseason, see him with a full rest. This is going to be the most rest he get in the offseason in a long time. Seeing that he'll be going into his offseason healthy and starting it pretty early, getting eliminated in the first round. But if some people want to put KD higher than him, then right now you can't argue against that. So I wouldn't go too far saying that he's washed. Remember what happened last time? That Wash King run was amazing last year. So I would watch my tone on saying that he's washed. Now on to Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers as a team. Portland Trail Blazers look like they're heading to either a restart or a rebuild this offseason. But a lot of people are clamoring for Damian Lillard to get traded. Where is that coming from? Why in the world would they trade Damian Lillard? What's the point in doing that? Damian Lillard is a guy that has shown extreme loyalty to this team. He's a guy who you can build your franchise around. I do agree that they need to retool, but it's not by trading Damian Lillard. And it's going to be extremely hard for them to trade CJ at that. But I do say that they can't win a championship together. CJ has to go. You got to find a way to get a more talented wing player for Damian Lillard to take some of that pressure off. Right now, it's just him and CJ, two small guys in the backcourt, and there's no way you win an NBA game like that. So the Portland Trail Blazers are looking in the interesting offseason coming, but I would try to hold on to Damian Lillard as long as I possibly can. There's no trade package that you can put together for me to trade Damian Lillard. The most interested that I've seen is Dame for Ben Simmons. If they lose to the Hawks, that's going to be an interesting conversation that teams are going to have. But if I'm the Portland Trail Blazers, there's no way I'm moving on from Damian Lillard. No way that happens. Quickly switch gears to the NFL. The Green Bay Packers have started their OTAs, and they started it without Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had made it very clear to this organization that he does not want to play for them anymore and has requested to be traded. And he hasn't shown up to the offseason activities just of yet. If Aaron Rodgers misses every single activity that the Green Bay Packers have, he'll be docked $93,000. Chump change to a guy like Aaron Rodgers. He made more than double that just hosting Jeopardy a couple months ago. But I don't think he's going to show up. I also don't think he's going to be traded. He's asked to be traded about a month ago, and the team has said tough titty, show up and suit up. But as far as this drags along, the longer it goes on, the more power the organization is going to have. Eventually, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to suck it up and show up and just play football, man. I don't see anywhere this team trades him, and I don't see any reason why they should trade him. Outside of the man is unhappy and you don't want to hold him hostage, but Aaron Rodgers is the current MVP of the league. I don't think there's been a player that's been traded after their MVP season ever in the history of NFL. So I think it's going to end up being with Aaron Rodgers showing up, rather it be in preseason, rather it be week 1. He's going to show up and he's going to have to suck it up and play for this team. And they have Super Bowl aspirations this season. They're a good enough team to make it to the Super Bowl. It's been 3 straight years that they've been in the NFC Championship game. So if Aaron Rodgers shows up, goes behind an excellent offensive line he got, and throws the ball to Davante Adams, they're going to be just fine. Let's move on to Julio Jones getting traded to the Tennessee Titans. I'm a Houston Texans fan. This news really didn't have much of an effect on me because it wasn't like we was going to beat the Titans at all this year anyways. But the Titans adding Julio Jones is a little puzzling for me. I understand that they only gave up a 2nd round pick and I think a 4th round pick, which is a low price to pay for a player like Julio Jones. But the Tennessee Titans is a team that's known for running the ball. Their best asset is their running back, Derrick Henry. So you mean to tell me you get Julio Jones to run the ball more? They're going to be transitioning more into passing, which is kind of not going to help them much often. Ryan Tannehill is still their quarterback, and while Ryan Tannehill is a great passer in the pocket, and while they're going to have 2 outside wide receivers to cause a problem, the best bet is still turning around and handing off the ball and letting Derrick Henry do what he do. Them getting Julio Jones makes them more dynamic, and I do understand the concept of spreading the field out more and taking less players out of the box for Derrick Henry to run wild on. But I think you get a guy like Julio Jones to throw him the ball. He's a guy who needs those possessions and who dominates the field. And for a team that's run heavy, I don't really see the fit. The last note that I got here for the NFL is Kareem Jackson for the Denver Broncos. It said that Deshaun Watson has requested to play for the Denver Broncos and has told Kareem Jackson to tell his team to come get him. Why are you talking, bro? Like, what do you have to say right now? You should be preoccupied with more important things that's going on in your life than getting traded from the current team that you're on. The Houston Texans is not going to trade Deshaun Watson until they recoup his value, and that value is probably not going to be recouped anytime this season. It's probably going to be next offseason where he gets traded. So I'll be having a video coming out on Deshaun Watson, my situation. I've been kind of putting that off, being a Texans fan. I haven't been wanting to talk about it too much. But it is a video that I'm going to provide you guys with, give you guys the latest updates on his situation and what I think the overall outcome of his situation to be. So stay tuned for that one. Alright, last but not least, we're going to talk about this Floyd Mayweather versus Jake Paul fight. Now, this fight was booked for strictly entertainment. It was an exhibition fight, and it wasn't a fight that I personally took too seriously. But a lot of people are enraged and feel like they got finessed by both of these fighters. It was a fight that didn't have a referee. It was a fight that didn't have a judge. The only way you would know that someone won this fight is if one or the other one got knocked out. And seeing that no one even hit the mat, a lot of people feel like it was a lot of hype for very little gain. But all that hype was put on yourselves. You should know and understand what an exhibition fight is. You should know what to expect when they say that there's no referees or no judges. This was a big money grab, and both fighters came out with a great payday. I think Floyd made about 115 million, and Jake Paul made somewhere around 7 or 8 million. And most of those come off of pay-per-view, which is crazy because I think Jake Paul only got 500,000 for the fight, while Floyd Mayweather got 10 million guaranteed for the fight. The rest of their bonuses came strictly off of pay-per-view price purchases, which lets you know how many people bought this fight to watch an exhibition. I think that they did a great job promoting it, as Floyd usually does. And anytime that Floyd steps in the ring, it's going to be for big money. It's the only reason this guy's going to lace up the gloves again. He's reiterated that he's retired. He's reiterated that he's not coming out of retirement for anything. So anytime that you see Floyd Mayweather's name on the fight, don't expect it to be one of these heavyweight championship fights. None of them 50 wins that he got on his record. That's not the Floyd Mayweather that you're going to see anymore. He's going to be booking these entertainment fights, and that's what you should be expecting. Now, if you go into it, look at it as I did, it's pure entertainment. It was that. It was a very entertaining fight. A lot of fun to see. That pop that Floyd Mayweather hit Jake Paul with was a pretty good hit, and I think it's probably one of the best punches he's thrown in his career, in my personal opinion. But some of these people that's getting enraged about the outcome of the fight or how the flow of the fight went, and Mayweather pulling punches and walking them down. Of course, Mayweather been doing that his whole career, bro. Like, he drags the fights on to make more money. That's how Floyd Mayweather gets his wins. He's a defensive fighter. He doesn't go after guys and lay them down. He lets them come to him, and he tags them when he gets to open spot. So, I mean, I don't see why people expected more or expected something different from a retired fighter. That does not make sense to me. But overall, they achieved what they wanted to achieve. Both of them got the bag from this fight, and I'm proud of them, man. That was an entertaining fight. I took it for what it was worth, and I really enjoyed what I saw. So there you have it. Some of the more important things that happened in the world of sports this past week. Let's get to the comment of the day. Now, I want you guys to let me know what kind of impact you think Julio Jones is going to have on the Tennessee Titans. Let's get that conversation going down below in the comment section. Now, don't forget, if this is the type of content that you like, make sure you leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and make sure you leave a comment down below. And other than that, I'm out, man. I appreciate y'all. Catch you in the next one.